What's up, kind people of YouTube? My name is Ahmed and welcome back to yet another video. This video is about Andor and how it made me fall in love with Star Wars all over again, because we all know when a series lasts or a series or a franchise lasts a little longer than expected, they start to become stale, start to become, let's just say, cliche based. Look at Modern Family, look at Two and a Half Men, Friends, The Big Bang Theory, and each of them had at some point become prey to the cliches, to the genre they are in. But that's the good thing about Star Wars, and Star Wars can be anything. It can be a murder mystery, it can be a thriller, it is a science fiction, it can be about a human in a different planet, and it can be anything. And that is what is so great about Star Wars. And that is what Andor has really been exploiting in the last 10-12 weeks that it has been streaming, because it utilizes the fact that it can be anything to tell us a story that is gripping, modern by all standards, and possibly one of the best Star Wars series that I have seen. I know it's not going to be a popular opinion because a lot of Star Wars fans are in question with what is a good Star Wars story, and we have two sides, and a lot of people like it's not a Star Wars story if it doesn't have Jedi or Sith in it. And in my opinion, that's not really true, because you don't need the Jedi or the Sith to actually tell a good story. It's about good versus evil at the end of it. That's what a good Star Wars story is, and this show is particularly about that. And the fact that we're talking about the Empire, which basically took up a 30-year period in Star Wars history, and fight against that empire wasn't really done by a lot of the Jedi, it was the common people. So it is only obvious for us to have a story that tells us from the perspective of the people that were actually involved in the rebellion. That being said, about Andor and the fact that Cassian Andor is played brilliantly by the actor is something that has to be pointed out right off the bat. Now that that's out of the way, here are 5 reasons why I absolutely enjoyed Andor and why I fell in love with it. The first thing is how good the cinematography of the show is, and make no doubts about it, every single frame feels like a painting. Every single moment in the show is outstanding, it's brilliant, the colors on it are beautiful, and I was just sitting there in awe of how they were able to create such beautiful frames for a show that is set in or on multiple planets, and they're able to give us such wonderful worlds, and they're able to build so many different worlds. One boils down to the cinematography, and then two, it boils down to how well the CGI actually plays into the cinematography. That, coupled with really good character arcs, good motivations for each of the characters, and how each character has an arc that feels realistic. Every character that is introduced feels like a Star Wars character to begin with, also feels like what would happen to the character, and there's always this edge of the seat tension that is ever present, because we all saw Rogue One, we all know what happens to the characters, what are they going to do next, and all of this makes Andor stand out for me the most in comparison to any other Star Wars series that I've seen in the last couple of years. Like I mentioned in my last point, it's also about how they actually build the worlds, and this is something that, especially under Dave Filoni, Star Wars has been doing really well, because the worlds feel realistic, they feel true, they feel new, and not watered down versions of Tatooine. And we're not going back to Tatooine every episode. We don't have to. I mean, you have the entire universe at your hand. You can just create random planets and do world buildings for that, and that's what Andor does really well. Another reason why the show really stands out is there is good, genuine storytelling. There is a sense of thrill about it. There's a sense of what's going to happen next with the characters, what are the motivations of the characters that are present on screen right now, how are they going to do it, what are they going to do next, and this coupled with the way the story is structured, how time passes within the universe of Andor, because every series that Star Wars makes has the freedom to do what they want. Andor is being able to create a wonderful story, and that is something that I would love to explore in another video as well. The characters, especially Luthen and Andor in itself, are very expressive characters and they know what they're dealing with. And then we have a legendary character in Mon Mothma, who, if you know from the Star Wars universe, plays a very big part in the rebellion. And this is why I love the show so much, and this is why I'm loving Star Wars again after such a long time. Overall, if you're a Star Wars fan, I would highly recommend you watch the show because it's definitely worth the hype that has been getting. If you're not a Star Wars fan, I would recommend you start somewhere, and one of the best places to start is the original trilogy. So peace, and I think I'll make a video on how to watch Star Wars movies in the correct order. Peace, see you in the next one really soon.